So firing the man who was leading the investigation into your administration.
Right.
That's the symbolic connection.
Symbolic connection.
All right. What about the tapes?
Well, as soon as I heard the T word, I remembered the Monday. I don't remember when it was, but I remember it was a Monday because I worked Tuesday through Saturday, and I was off on Monday. I was watching the Senate Watergate hearings when
This is your day off, Tom, and you were watching the hearings.
Right, and Alexander Butterfield, who nobody had ever heard of, who I later got to meet, but that's another story for another time. Butterfield confirmed the existence of a taping system in the White House. And I think you could argue that that was the beginning of the end of President Nixon, because once it became clear that there were tapes, you knew special prosecutors in the Watergate committee would demand those tapes. Nixon refused, and it went to the Supreme Court. And on Monday, August the 5th, 4 days before Nixon resigned, they released the tapes because the Supreme Court in a unanimous ruling said no man is above the law, and the White House had to release those tapes. So when I heard taping tapes, that's what popped into my head, Nixon's tapes. So that's another symbolic parallel at the very least.
So you've been there, and as have I, with Sean Spicer. Again, his answer, if we could, let's play again, Jamie, where yesterday he was asked by Hallie Jackson again, why don't you just tell us were there tapes or not? Here's that exchange.
Why won't you just explain whether or not there are recordings of
I think the president's made it clear what his position is.
That's not my question. So
I
why
understand
won't
that
you
because
explain?
that's what the president's position is.
So given that you refuse to confirm or deny any of this, how is any senior official supposed to feel comfortable having a conversation privately with the president?
As I've said, Hallie, the president's made it clear what his position is.
Well, it's made it clear what his position is. What does that mean?
Well, it means they're stonewalling on this, and that goes to the other symbolic parallel that pops into my head, Bill. What I learned from Watergate as a very young reporter is that if you don't, one of the cardinal rules of damage control should be, if you have nothing to hide, don't behave like you do. And whether it's fair or unfair, true or not, the Trump White House is behaving like they have something to hide. Now, maybe they don't, but the optics are terrible, and that was another thing. And I've used that line for 40 years, and I never thought I'd be recycling it in a current context, but it's pretty apt, at least in a symbolic way.
So if there are tapes, from what I hear you say, that eventually they're going to come out.
Yeah, they're either going to be destroyed or they're going to come out.
But
because you're right. No self-respecting prosecutor would shrug his shoulders and say, I don't care about tapes. And the congressional committees, let's don't forget, there's a toothless House committee, and then there's a pretty respectable Senate committee.
Yeah,
they're going to want tapes if the tapes exist.
If the tapes exist.
It could be that President Trump, that there are no tapes, and he just kind of said that in an undisciplined way. We don't know yet.
But here's what I find a little confusing is we know Nixon had the tapes, okay, but we played tapes here of LBJ. There's a whole book out with LBJ tapes, right? I believe I read somewhere that there were some John F. Kennedy tapes too. I mean, does every president tape every conversation in the Oval Office?
I don't believe so. No, I mean, especially not since Nixon. I mean, there's no evidence that any president taped in the Oval Office after Nixon, but who knows?
Yeah, I just wondering how unusual it is.
I think everybody else learned the lesson of Nixon except for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, if there are tapes, you might, in some circumstance, have to cough them up, and so I think most presidents since Nixon have not done that. I mean,
Seems like a pretty good policy.
Yeah,
to not have them.